Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Neon City Daily Dev Spotlight. Joining me is Neon City Daily's own Nick and Dave. I'm Josh, and with us we have Kingless. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. I'm Sebastian. I'm the managing director of Two19 and working on our first project, Kingless.
Alex, I'm the creative director.
And I'm Nathan. I'm director of game design.
How are you, lads?
Look, I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
How are you guys
very
going?
well, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, no, that's all right. We're going well. I'm having a stroke, but other than that,
Think fast.
And not
Think fast.
not the good kind either. But,
straight into Neon City Daily territory. So you guys made a card game.
We did. We made a card game, Kingless. We've recently seen success on Kickstarter, and we're getting pretty close to releasing the final product.
awesome.
So the Kickstarter campaign, that was, well, you say successful, I'd say extremely successful.
Very successful.
Your, what do they call it? Stretch goals.
Yep.
So you've met every single one of your stretch goals, is that right?
Near enough. I think we were pretty close to meeting them all.
Yep.
We were certainly lucky enough to get our favourites.
Yeah, okay. Yep. And what were they? What were the stretch goals that you were really hoping to kind of hit?
Our first one, of course, was it was a very early stretch goal because we really wanted to hit it, and that was just an upgrade to the quality of the card stock, which, of course, the backers were very eager to reach. We were very eager for them to reach it, just because it improved everyone's copy of the game. Just got instantly better as soon as we hit that one.
Absolutely. Makes it a bit more durable too, I imagine.
It certainly does.
And so you're close to release, is that right? When are you aiming to have the game out by?
So we're hoping to have Kingless into the hands of our backers this year. We're full steam ahead at the moment. The pre-production copy is actually on the way to us right now. I have the tracking number. I'm refreshing every single second of the day to see whereabouts that is. As soon as we get that, we'll sign off and we'll be moving into mass production and shipping off around the world to all of our backers.
Awesome. And that's so backers, you, from memory, 300 odd backers?
That's correct.
Yeah.
We were absolutely blown away by the number of people that liked what we created and wanted to be involved and support it.
And this is your first foray into physical games on a mass production scale?
Yeah, this is our first project. The first time we've produced anything like this. And yeah, I mean, yeah, we were blown away with how well it went on Kickstarter, and figuring out the process going forward from here has been an interesting ride, but we're getting pretty close to the end now.
You guys are what we'd call a local crew. You guys are you're based kind of same state as we are down in Tasmania. You're like a real kind of very, very, very small operation, aren't you?
100%. Yeah, we are. Mostly due to COVID restrictions, we've been operating quite remotely through the whole process. I mean, we've been working on Kingless for about 2 years now, pretty much to the day, actually. And a lot of that, our first year, we had a chance to get together, but we're all sort of spread out around the state. So doing things remotely, we use Discord to talk to each other, and it's been a really powerful tool for us to communicate and build Kingless remotely. We use Tabletop Simulator a lot. We actually built Kingless inside of Tabletop Simulator, and you can go ahead and download that now and try it out and play the full game on Tabletop if you have it. But that's been a really powerful way for us to test and design Kingless, through the whole process.
And so give us some background on the game itself. What was the inspiration for Kingless?
Alex?
Yeah, absolutely. Our real inspiration is going back to the common fantasy theme of dwarves, starting way back with The Hobbit, but also basically every major work of fantasy fiction since then. We had a really exciting theme there, and we wanted to do something with it. I proposed that we look at making a tabletop game because I had seen these sort of projects that lots of small, exciting companies and crews were putting out there. and I thought if they could do it, so could we.
Awesome. Why not? And so far, it's gone swimmingly.
So far.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll continue.
Yeah. We'll touch wood for you.
Yeah, we had a global pandemic as soon as we set out, but
Yeah.
that's overall pretty good.
Just ignore the signs of the universe.
But that's also meant lots of people want to play things. So, there's a market.
Yeah, it definitely put an increase on internet travel. So
Yeah, I was about to say
Absolutely.
it'd be interesting. Obviously, we'll never know, but to see if that kind of drove up backers for a lot of projects, really. People got a lot of time on their hands compared to normal and sitting at home going, what's something to do?
I do feel like the part of what worked for this project and part of the things that I really liked was that when you let me know about the card game that we were going to be talking to these guys for, I went and checked out the website and went and looked it up. And it all just looks really well done. And like the fact that I can scroll down, I can see like the idea of how the game's supposed to be played. And it just looks very like kind of easy to learn, possibly hard to master, which is a great mix and something that you want in a card game.
Yeah.
So I feel like the fact that like you guys look like you've worked so hard on this and it just looks so good. I feel like that would have really, really kind of helped you kick that goal through for Kickstarter.
I mean, definitely, it's always been a core of what we try to do is to build everything we do to the highest possible quality. And if we can't do something ourselves in house, we will find the skills and expertise to help with that, and get it to the level that we're happy with.
Have you engaged with many other local, specialists? So you're saying that, if you guys can't fill a certain skill requirement, is there much locally that you can source, or is it a matter of going further afield?
I mean, again, it's the nature of the world at the moment. It's even local people are not sat in the same room with you. So it's it's one of those things where we seek the talent and work with them sort of irrespective of where they are in the world. And we've had people help us from all around the world, from design to testing. We've had local people helping us test here, and we've got friends and family in the UK and the US and sort of all around the globe. And Tabletop Simulators, like I said, has been really good for that. So we've been able to, it's been
absolutely.
late nights for us and some early mornings and things like that. But we've been able to test with a wide audience prior to going to Kickstarter and things like that.
And just out of curiosity, based on the feedback, did you make many changes? Was that something you had to do, or it was pretty bang on the first time that people played it?
From our initial rules and stats for all of our cards, we have made tremendous changes.
Yeah.
For the most part, we dragged it through large changes and iterations ourselves before taking it to the wider community, because we wanted to capture their initial feedback, because that, of course, is tremendously valuable. After that, there's been a tremendous amount of refinement just to make sure that we got the result we wanted.
Yeah. And I will point out at this point that we are talking about, obviously, Kingless. It's a card game. But we're not going to go into too much detail about how to actually play it, because I know that we certainly plan to get our hands on a copy. And hopefully with a few of you guys joining us as well, we'll do another video, or do a video of us actually playing it.
Yeah,
Whereas,
I'd love to. That'd be really good.
yeah,
Great
whereas,
idea.
we're just talking to you guys at the moment about the process and things like that. Really is a local success story. It's not... I don't think it's too common to come out of old Tassie.
Oh, no. Yeah. Especially because it seems like you guys, your backers are kind of fairly far-flung, aren't they? Like, they aren't really concentrated down here at all. There's a lot all over the place, isn't there?
We had some backers in some strange places. We get a backer report at the end of the Kingless, the Kickstarter campaign ending, and we get to see where sort of all our backers are located. We had some guys you'll be able to. I can't remember the name, but we had a small island somewhere.
The one that stood out for me was Guadalupe.
Whichever
and we're
one.
getting places
Nick, obviously,
we've never
you know
even
where that
heard
is.
of.
That's
I know exactly where that is.
Yeah,
That's up
yeah.
and then across a little bit.
Yep.
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the one.
yeah, that's all right. Just checking Nick. I mean, Dave and I knew where it was. But.
It was truly fantastic to get it back from a place you never heard of, go straight to Google Earth, and then go and look at the place, and it's just absolutely amazing to see someone live in a beautiful place like that was interested in our game.
So shout out to that person.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That guy's a champ.
And again, just a testament to the power and reach of the internet, really, isn't it?
Yeah, completely. I mean, Kickstarter was huge for us. We wouldn't have been able to have launched Kingless, let alone financially. Just getting the name out there ourselves would have been really hard to have done.
Was Kickstarter always the plan for funding and for visibility?
Yeah, Kickstarter was always the plan.
Yeah.
Primarily for funding, but the visibility that we got from it was huge. And any projects that we do in the future, and there will be projects in the future, but we will be taking those to Kickstarter as well, just because it's the community there is really solid, and we've had such great feedback throughout the entire campaign that we are up for. It was amazing.
Now, you mentioned future projects. I'm not going to forget that, but first I want to ask. Now, you may or may not be able to tell me, but I'm just wondering, because I've not done a Kickstarter. I've backed, I think, one thing, and that was Star Citizen, and I'd since got a refund. What's the business model? How do Kickstarter make money? Do they take a percentage from you once you reach your goals, or?
If your project succeeds, they take a modest, should we say, percentage of the total sum.
Yeah.
For small projects like ours and many others that have like a relative success for us, but in the grand scheme of things, nothing major.
Yeah.
So
it's
obviously
on a
a little bit of
scale.
that. There's lots of them, but then you have some of the larger projects, which rake in a couple of $1 million. So a small percentage of that is certainly seems to be enough for them to keep the lights on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh, well, look, I think they're pretty much operating the last few years based on Star Citizen alone. I think that was the highest funded
I
project
think so, yeah.
in any kind of crowdsourcing.
We've seen a lot of, like, just in general, like, big things come from Kickstarter. And
Certainly
and
a lot of
things that have
success
been,
stories, yeah.
Things that have not only been success stories in the way they've been funded, but they've been good afterwards as well, which is nice. And so that actually reminds me with you guys are obviously doing the Kickstarter run for the cards, for the games, and that will be, your backers will obviously receive them. Do you guys have like a plan moving forward for some continuous sales? Is that where this is going? So there's not just going to be the one round. You're actually going to keep selling this as time moves forward?
Oh, definitely. And, that was always the plan for us as well. So we want to build a product that lasts and that is, engaging for people for many years to come. And our retail plan, I guess, for going forward, after the priority for us obviously is to deliver our backers their copies that they secured through helping us on Kickstarter. But after that, we will be partnering with Amazon and hosting and selling Kingless through Amazon globally, or as many places as we can get. And that's where you'll be able to pick up a copy, hopefully, or fingers crossed, at the end of the year.
Nice. And let's face it, Amazon's mission statement is probably as far as we can get.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think you guys are pretty
yeah.
well covered there. That's not a bad partnership to secure, really.
So that was was with Amazon. Was that something that you applied for, or did they approach you about it? Because, like, obviously you had, like we said already, that really successful Kickstarter. Was that something that kind of they took notice of and made an offer to you, or did you apply to them for doing this?
No, they did. Amazon actually have this program called Amazon Launchpad, and it's where they help promote successful local businesses within country. So we're actually working with Amazon Australia initially, and they help you to globally transition and sell your product around the globe through this program called Amazon Launchpad, which focuses on small businesses and successful crowdfunding projects and things like that.
Awesome. And so I didn't forget about the future project statement. So future project. So Kingless flies off the shelves, sells millions of copies. Your next project, is that within the Kingless universe, or are you you got plans to move on to something completely different, or?
I was hoping you were going to forget about this.
Nope, no, definitely not.
No, we definitely have plans going forward for many more games and things like that. Certainly, Kingless, in the Kingless universe, we actually have been prototyping a few different an expansion to start with for Kingless. So this will be something we'll definitely be looking into in the future. And again, hopefully be able to take that to Kickstarter when it's ready.
Yeah.
But we know we have some really cool ideas and things that didn't necessarily fit into Kingless. We want to move into other projects.
Yeah. And we're still talking physical, like tactile board games, things like that, or you're going to make a digital move?
It's hard to say. I think we are definitely in the realm of physical. I have a background in IT and technology, and I've always been in that space, and moving into the realms of the physical product has sort of been a step away from that for me. And I quite like, other than the logistical nightmare that it is trying to get a product around the world in the middle of a global pandemic, it's a nice change from everyone being glued to screens.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, encouraging face-to-face interaction with people, like in a family or something like that, is great.
Ugh.
I am guessing that you guys are are you guys all fairly big fans of tabletop games or card games before, or is this kind of some of you have kind of seen them and then you've moved into this, or how's that worked for us?
I know I certainly grew up playing a lot of games, and especially in sort of the teenage years, a lot of tabletops, and yeah. I've sampled a wide variety.
I'm definitely more of a digital guy. Typically, a lot of games on the computer and on console and things like that. But I've always played a few tabletop games, but really engaging with them has been a tremendously exciting process.
Yeah, I am only recently transitioning myself to physical, thanks to Nick. He's our local tabletop expert. Although I don't know if you're really worthy of that designation anymore. You've still not bought that Lord of the Rings game that you've been eyeing off the shelf for months.
That's an entirely different bucket of worms. That's
a real fan would have bought it by now.
That's plastic crack at this point.
But yeah, no, that's it's certainly exciting for us to explore more of the physical game world, as much as I love my computer. But Neon City Daily, as a whole, we've made the decision to head in that direction, and that's what's so exciting about talking to you guys, because such a success story to come out of little Hobart Town, where we're also based. That's what we want to promote the most, really.
Especially because this is it is the first game. It is the first Kingless game, if you know what I mean. Like, this is a fairly big deal. Like, it's a fairly specific theme.
Yeah.
It looks like a fairly specific game that, like I said, it looks like it's going to be really easy to get people into. And I feel like that's part of one of the reasons why tabletop games are so good, because if you know a game and you can teach someone easily, it's a lot easier to bring new players in, I find.
It was definitely a big part of our designing of the game. We really wanted to have something that is easy to teach and really approachable to people that haven't played tabletop games before. So I feel like we've found that balance, but we've also sort of delved into enough mechanics that really lets you to start to strategize once you have picked it up.
And that would be a hard balance, I imagine. That be the result of, as you say, years of play testing and numerous changes and things like that. So at the end, the end result will hopefully be the game in as many hands as possible. You want to appeal to the widest audience.
I would love to be able to show you the inner workings of the countless numbers of spreadsheets that we'd been through to try and work out. We've got every single card listed, and we've documented every change. We actually started doing patch notes on our blog a long time ago of documenting every change that we made. More so for our own sort of, going back over it and seeing a public version of the changes that we'd made. But, for the really close-knit followers that have maybe downloaded some early versions on Tabletop Simulator
Tabletop Sim.
and played some of those, they can sort of see the changes that we've made along the way. And that's part of us trying to be as open as we can. And as we're going through Kickstarter, because we couldn't get together and do a proper demonstration, obviously because of COVID-19 and things like that. We were just wanted to make sure that we presented as much information as we had with everyone and was open and honest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I suppose that invites more feedback too, which can only be a good thing.
Definitely. I mean, we had heaps of feedback through the Kickstarter. It's really, really good. People had some amazing ideas, that we can take on board and put into future projects as well.
Yeah,
we had so many great ideas that I think there was almost enough whole cloth there to make an entirely separate game just out of great gameplay ideas that people had volunteered.
Yeah, right.
How do you actually make the decision to go, right, this is the set, this is where we're going to call it? We've made all the
We
rules,
had
that's
a
it.
design ethos that we liked to compare our decisions against. We called it FEF, just for fast, easy, and fun. And it was those three. If we looked at a feature and it didn't facilitate those three rules, and we couldn't find a way to make it follow those rules, we would dispose of it and bench it for later projects.
Nice, yeah. I think a lot of actual game developers, other ones, could take those on board.
Well,
a really good example of this is within Kingless. From the very beginning, we had this mechanic called fake dwarfs, and the idea was that there were these characters that were infiltrating the Hammering Crown, which is the name of the tavern that Kingless takes place within. And they were dressed up really comically. So we've got a dwarf with a big beard, just put with a loop around the back of his head. So it's obvious for the player that they're fake dwarfs, but we assume that the other dwarfs within the Hammering Crown don't realize that they are fake dwarfs. Anyway, so we had this whole mechanic that was around maybe powering up or weakening these fake dwarves in some way. But the more we played with it, and this actually lasted, I can't remember, guys, it's probably about 9 months, I guess, through development. It was a long way through development.
At least 8 versions, I think.
Yeah. We were really keen to keep this mechanic in, but the more we played with it, the more we tested, it just didn't meet that fast, easy fun. It became too convoluted and too complex, and it required too much thinking and slowed down gameplay.
Yep.
And that was just one of the things that we had to, it was a hard decision to make, but we ended up pulling that mechanic out of the game. But we made the decision to keep the artwork in, because it's a cool little Easter egg. So people who hear this podcast will know about that. I don't actually think we've spoken about that anywhere else. So that's a pretty neat little Easter egg for people who
heard it here first.
I like it.
It's going to be the only explanation why there's an orc in the tavern with a fake beard.
Oh, there's to be some great backstory available there.
It has to be.
Are you guys going to build out the lore around it via any
We
kind of means? Or?
have written some blog posts detailing what each of these dwarves is about. We have quite a lot of these cards are basically character cards, and they have a unique character on them with a unique name, a unique identity, and you can look at them and you can sort of figure out from all their props and stuff like who they are and what they do and what they're about. So that there's certainly lots of stuff there, and throughout the whole game, we've tried to tie in as many Easter eggs from like one image to another. So you'll be playing the game, and then suddenly you'll go, "Oh no, hang on! This image on this card is actually in that other picture over there." So there's all sorts of little details tying it together.
See, that as a player who's already kind of looking forward to playing this, that's something that gets me interested even a little bit more, because then as you play, you kind of almost find more the more you play, which is nice.
Exactly.
Sorry, Alex.
Oh no, I was going to say you continue.
I mean, it was Alex's. You'll speak to this, but you have a background in D&D, so the character creation and the lore behind all the characters sort of comes from this we wanted to build a deep background for for all the characters within the Hammer and Crown, and we wanted to make sure that when we designed each individual bit of artwork, they were all unique. We didn't want to have duplicates, and even in some of the cards, so for example, some of the events and some of the items, there will be little throwbacks to some of the dwarfs within those cards as well, in the background and sort of placed around. Maybe items from some of the characters are within other cards, so there's all this tie-in that pulls it all together.
I'm curious. Back to Fef. The first F was fast. What was the main motivator behind making it fast?
Well, we figured we wanted to go for a fairly straightforward card game. Obviously, in tabletop gaming, you have massive tabletop games which offer dozens of hours of fun and have more knickknacks and components than you can shake a stick at. But they're certainly not fast. You can't rock up to your friend's house in an evening and then play 3 or 4 rounds of them.
As we know very well with Warhammer. Yep.
Yeah. They have to be a major commitment. And we particularly liked a lot of these faster games like Code Names, which is certainly a very popular one right now.
Yeah.
Where you can settle down and just have a couple of different games, have a few people win each game. Everyone's a winner. Everyone's kind of happy. A great party game and an atmosphere builder if you can have these fast games.
Yeah.
The first game for everyone would take about half an hour. After that, they should take about 20 minutes or so to play out.
Okay. Yeah.
See, that actually to me kind of...
Yeah, I can dig that.
Yeah, like I can really get into that because that's one of the reasons why like I can sit there with my kids and play Exploding Kittens. It's just like... It's just, you kind of know what's going on and you just keep going and you go. And like, so that makes it really easy for my kids to just be able to...
You and your cats.
It just makes it really easy for my kids to be able to go like, all right, yes, we like, these rules are fairly straightforward, or they're on the cards, or they're really simple to understand. And that's what kind of helps make it a faster game for something like that.
I think it's probably important to note as well that Kingless is all about the subsequent rounds that you play. So there is a social aspect to winning and losing. Nathan, you're pretty good at explaining the rationale behind this.
Yeah, so I know it was just a basic card game with your normal deck of 52, and there was one there, if you came dead last, you'd be called something not very polite. And I always love that because you'd just absolutely bag out whoever came last. So we've brought this forward with in Kingless.
I'm going to call you a bag of shit all night, Nick, if you lose.
Thanks, bud. You're already getting ready.
The player who comes dead last in Kingless is dubbed the Fool, and the Fool gets his own little card for the next round, and the Fool has to give their best card to the King the next round. So it's a bit of a social punishment.
You really don't want to lose.
I like it.
You really don't want to lose.
You could almost make a prison version.
Exactly.
You're my bitch at the end of the round.
Oh, thanks, man. I'm really glad that's where that went with you.
And sort of like the next great thing about it is it keeps the round really engaging for all players because you're always in it. You've always got a goal. If you're mid-packed, you might not target who's in front because you're trying to ensure that you don't come last. So you pile up on them, take them down.
That's a good mechanic. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm actually
going,
So from playtesting, what I can tell you is when the three of us play, one of those two will become king, and then they'll gang up on me, and I'll become the fool every single time we play.
It will tell you a lot about your friendship group, I'm guessing.
Exactly right. Yeah,
it's all skill.
You won't make any new friends playing this game. I'll say that one.
I think that's a testament to a good game.
Yeah.
If you want to stab like your best friend in the eye.
See, I was going to take it more of a different angle. Is if you can actually get people having fun and like being intensely interested in how the game goes.
No, you've never played Monopoly with my mother.
No.
It's not about making friends, though.
You don't have fun. You're there to win.
It was really interesting we spend a lot of time. This is going to sound really creepy. We spend a lot of time watching people play Kingless.
Yeah.
For our own, it's all well and good us playing and us being involved, but we know the game so well.
Yeah.
Need that outside-in
it's
perspective.
not necessarily an advantage for us, but it is an advantage. So we spend a lot of time stepping back and just watching people play, and the dynamic that forms, there'll be this. Everyone will be trying to become king at the start, so everyone's like, I've got to win, and then it'll become clear that perhaps, okay, this person is doing really well. I can now decide, well, I can take them down and potentially become king myself, or I can go for the weaker person and ensure that I do not become the fool. And it's really interesting watching how people dive one way or the other. We saw a lot of heated gameplay moments that were quite hilarious to watch as people duked it out to not become the fool.
You don't have to be the best, you've just not got to be the worst.
Exactly
You're
right.
not first, you're last.
One of my personal favourites is when someone decides to think ahead, marshal their best cards, even though they're not really in the running to win, and they really, really, really look like they're going to be the fool. They put a plan together, and they take a couple of risks, and they do their absolute best just to not be the fool.
Which is good, because then you've got people with different motivations across the spectrum of the game.
And that'd be within rounds too. So it's going to spice the game up.
You're not going to feel like, oh, I'm losing, I'm out. You've still got something to play for.
You've still got something to
don't
try
want to
and
be
get
the fool.
Just don't be the fool.
Yeah. I can see a really
That was
nasty
something we really
drinking
wanted to
game.
avoid.
I can see a drinking game being born out of this as well.
You can.
We may not have codified it, but the beer has been drunk.
Nice.
It is set in a tavern. I feel like it'd be appropriate for the occasion.
There are a few tankards within the game, full of what can only be described as dwarven ale.
So probably alcohol at that point.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go, Josh. It's set.
Yeah, I'm
You're
down
in.
with it. Yeah. No, look, I'm really keen. So how many people? I should have looked this up beforehand, but how many people can play it at once?
2 to 6.
2 to 6. Okay.
That's a good number. That's
That
a
is
good number for
Yeah.
a drinking game party
Yeah.
going.
And that was always the intention. It was like the sweet spot, or
Yeah, we've sort of like it's probably best with 4 to 6, I'd say.
Yep.
And that's what we've designed it for. There's no reason why you couldn't play it with 7 or 8 though. Like it's not gonna break. It the balance might be a little bit wacky, but you're still gonna have fun.
yeah.
You get a really fast game.
Yeah. It sounds like you guys have hit the nail on the head.
Just on this with the note and all that kind of thing. How big is a deck of Kingless?
It's 102 cards.
2 cards. And with this, obviously I haven't had it in my hands yet, and I haven't kind of had a really good look at it, so I don't know if this is the kind of game that will play to doing something like this. But are you guys looking at down the track, maybe, if you can't talk about it, let me know, but are you guys looking at maybe doing some expansions for this product?
It's
Definitely.
definitely big tick. We've already got some ideas, and we definitely want to play into those down the line.
And will they integrate with the original game, or are we talking more add-ons, or?
Oh, it's just going to add a couple new mechanics.
Yeah.
Just build to the base, I guess.
Yeah. Well, if you need play testers, you know how to find us.
We'd be very keen to trial some things with you guys. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we're definitely keen.
Our entire idea behind PlayStation was that with the more people and the more separate groups with different backgrounds we had playing, the better.
Yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. I can see the sense behind that.
Yeah, I haven't played a lot of tabletop or card games, but I'm getting more excited.
This is
when
where
we
you
talk
learn.
about this, and I've looked at it
Yeah.
a little bit.
We cover the spectrum between no experience, middling experience, and then Nick, who just doesn't have much of a life outside of it.
Yeah, you don't have to out me like that. Yeah.
We all know what else you're known for, Nick, and I don't think you want me to bring that up.
So now I'm worried. I'm not sure where that was actually going to go. So at the moment we are recording this end of September. Just to chuck a date out there on this, you guys said that you think that this will be kind of out in people's hands end of the year.
We'd love to get it to people at the end of the year. Obviously, shipping times are going to be a little bit crazy at the moment. So there could be delays there. We're still a little bit too far out at the moment to know how that's going to affect things. But we are doing monthly updates on our Kickstarter blog, and we're sort of bundling all of everything that happens over the course of a month together and pushing that out to everyone at the end of the month. So we're trying to be as open with everything that we know with our backers as well. So all that information is out there. The second that we can get more secure information on the shipping times, we'll be able to present that. But like I said, the pre-production model is on its way to us as we speak, and as soon as we sign off on that, we're going into mass production and then shipping off around the world.
Exciting times.
Really exciting.
Yeah.
And what are the chances we get to play it before then?
Wow,
Well,
not even polite about
Like I
it.
said, we'll have this pre-production copy, so you invite us into the studio, we might be able to have a little game.
Awesome.
Need to tee it up.
Yeah, I definitely think that needs to
The
happen.
first production copy of Kingless, huh?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I think it needs to fall our way.
Oh, hey.
No,
Looking forward to just ganging up on Josh and making him the fool.
that's
I
just
feel
a
like
Tuesday
that's
for
where-
me.
As long as it's not me, I don't care.
Oh, it's going to be
Done.
you, sir.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So competing, who can be the fool?
Be realistic.
Can you have multiple fools?
No, I think it's just the
Unfortunately,
sounds of it.
no.
Technically, yes, just not as part of the game.
Yeah.
So we can still call you names, Josh.
That's okay. Yeah, nothing's changed. All right. Well, no, thank you very much, guys, for coming on and telling us more about the process behind making your game Kingless. It's got us excited.
Yeah.
I'm sure our listeners will be very excited to know more about it. We've certainly put you and your name out there, and the response has been really positive. And best of luck to you moving forward.
Thanks for having us. I really appreciate it.
It's been a
It's been
pleasure.
wonderful.
No worries. And
Looking
yeah,
forward
any
to-
updates, just let us know. And hopefully we can catch up soon and play a game.
Yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, not a problem. All right, thanks, guys. That's it from us. And we'll catch up with the Kingless guys in the coming weeks. But bye for now.
Peace.